because that's all going to take place in the course of about 2 minutes. When we show up here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 officers. These 5 officers are going to say, all right, we're here, we're going in, what are we doing? You guys got rifle, shotgun, handgun, we're going through this door, you're taking the lead, I'm at the tail, go, and we're in the door. We no longer lock the place down and wait for SWAT to show up. We're going to go directly inside, and we're going to go directly to the threat. It's important for you to know how we're going to act, because one of the things that that team going into the building will do is bypass anybody else and any other situation that we come across. We may find innocent victims in the hallway who are scared. We'll probably tell you, go back out the way that we came in, but we can't stop and we can't assist you. We're going to find people who may be injured on the ground. We can't drag them out. We can't give them first aid. Our number one goal is to stop having additional victims. So we are going to bypass all of those things, not because we don't love you, but because we need to end this situation as quickly as possible. So we are going past all of those distractions, and we are going directly to the active shooter. And we are going to stop that active shooter however we can. Generally, it is in one of 3 ways. 1, they give up. They see us show up on scene, hands go up, okay, you got me. Not the most likely outcome. Number 2, they may go into barricaded, which means they see us coming and now they're going to go hide out somewhere and make it difficult for us to get to them. Not the worst outcome at that point, because if they're hiding, the shooting has stopped. Now we will contain them. Barricaded suspect. We'll contain them in that area. We'll get all of the other additional victims outside and away from the threat, and then we will confront that threat. And 3, we may unfortunately have to use deadly force. We know that those 3 are the most likely outcomes. The 4th one we've already talked about, and that's our mere response. Our mere arrival on scene may cause the bad guys to do it for us. In the case of Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut, the bad guy saw police officers pull up in the parking lot. He believed that his actions were about to come to an end. And the next part is just speculation based on investigators up there in Newtown. They went into his bedroom and they saw that he had significant imagery from violent video games all over his room. Like that was the only thing that he was focused on. They believed what he was playing out in his mind was a violent video game. He was a troubled individual. They believe that in a violent video game, the more targets you hit, the more points you get. And how does a video game end? If somebody else gets you. Well, he wanted to take that win away from police and give himself the extra point. So he wound up doing it himself. It's odd, convoluted logic. It's difficult to follow, but they believe that was what happened, and believe it or not, that happens in many of the cases where the bad guy will see police arrival is imminent, then they do it themselves. So our initial responding officers are going to go in, make entry, go directly to the threat so that we can locate it and stop whatever they're doing, however we need to do that. We are also going to have a second team come in and rescue those innocent victims. So as the first team goes through, the next responding officers that show up will come in, guided by our initial officers, and they'll come in and they'll evacuate the people that they can. After we have stopped the active shooter, after we have rescued people and provided medical assistance, now we slow everything down, but we're not done. We slow everything down because we want to make sure that we hold everyone accountable. Everybody who has been part of this has to be held accountable for their actions. We need to make sure there are no additional accomplices. We need to make sure all the people are accounted for, and we need to make sure we gather all the evidence that we need to bring these people to court. Your actions, well, basically, your actions are twofold. 1, we want you to call police as soon as possible. We need you to get us en route because remember what's likely to end bad guys' reign of terror. What's likely to end this scenario is police arrival in any of those 4 ways we talked about. The faster you get police going, the faster we respond, the faster we arrive, the faster we stop everything from happening. So, number one, we need you guys to get us going as quickly as possible, if you can safely do so. If you are standing in an area that will put you at risk because the active shooter is in close proximity, please don't give us a phone call and talk out loud. We don't want to put you at risk, but there are some things that you can do. Number one, if you are in close proximity, you can at least get us coming by pull out your cell phone, 911, and put it in your pocket. You guys know that anytime 911 is called, we're going to come find you, right? We have to come out. Even if you pick up the phone and say, hey, it was an accident, please don't come, we're still coming. We're going to make sure that everything is okay. That's what we do. We're police. So we're still going to come out. If there was something bad that happened in this room and nobody could talk on the phone, but we got 100 911 calls all at the same time, police are going to know something's happening here. So, okay, call 911 as quickly as you can.